Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to back. I don't know if it's Travis told you. I don't know what it is, but it is the Stranger Things season 5, the final season review. I'm Travis Snow. I don't really have a nickname. I feel like I haven't done them. I feel like I haven't even had done like Clown Prince of Crime in a very long time. But I'm here. It is Boxing Day, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody yesterday or today, whenever, because who knows? I feel like people do. I had a friend that did Christmas like a week early just because the way family thing was. Some people do it Christmas Eve, some people do it Christmas. I do it later today, Box Day with my family. So whatever's going on, I hope everybody's having a good Christmas. Big shout out to my mother-in-law for doing an early dinner. Not because of Stranger Things. We want to get back because man, getting back with it, like whenever you get back from Christmas, it's like, okay, you don't settle down until 2 hours after you get back, right? And usually, the broasts, my mother-in-law, love her, love the family, love my love. There's something I call bros time, and it works in mysterious ways. And if dinner is at 5 or 6, it's really at 7 or 8. So luckily, we got back. Everyone was pretty tired. So like I said before, I didn't know when this review was going to happen, but got time. The kids right now are building Lego, playing stuff. Babies are chilling. So if you hear babies cry, that's why. It's one of these times. Usually I try to pair it with a nap or something like that. But I'm getting this done because then the weekend I'm just going to chill with the family and hang out. So yeah, plugs down below. There's not too much left. Also, Dylan has a Game of the Year cast coming out this Monday, so look out for that. And then I will do a Travis Told You the Monday or Tuesday. I'll say the Monday right now. We'll cover the Avatar box office and anything other news going on. And yeah, should just be a fun show. So a couple more casts left for the 2025 edition. But yeah, today everything is just about Stranger Things as usual. I'm going to do a non-spoilers review, and then I will give you a break because obviously, questionable time to release it during the holidays. So if you want to just listen to my overalls and there not be spoiled in anything, you will get that. I'll say, hey, we're going to spoilers. We'll go there. Quick plugs, just everybody, if you like what we do or you'd like to support us, please go and support us on Patreon. That's the best way to get the episodes because they're all ad free. You get the entire backlog on there. There's all tons of different benefits and tiers and whatnot. We have 4 tiers. I always recommend doing the producer tier because not only do you get to pick the content, but next year you're going to get the most episodes ever. That tier for the first time ever is getting an episode. And yeah, you get, I think we said 30 episodes. Stay tuned for the movie preview. We have an announcement. We're fucking crazy. We're adding another retro. We will announce that in 2026, so look out for that. But we're working hard. So yeah, you're going to be getting 30 plus episodes if you're on the producer tier. Each tier has a different amount. But yeah, if you want ad-free episodes, backstage stuff, phase 2 is usually the best. But yeah, a big thank you. It was our biggest year there. We got lots of other stats to go over, but lots of multiple feeds was our biggest year. Not the main feed. 2022 is still king because that was a massive year. But other records broken. I'm very happy, and I very much thank you. And I thank you to everyone that listened last episode, and thank you everyone listening to this episode. So yeah, down below is everything you need to know. Join the Discord. We got Stranger Things channel there to talk, all that good jazz. So let's talk about this. So it's funny because last time we reviewed this years ago was obviously when they did the split of the two, right? And it's very tough because I've been trying not to, other than in long form term, I talk about on the Discord, but it's one of these things of like, how do I feel about the season overall? Well, excuse me, I couldn't, like, we're getting it in thirds, right? So I just couldn't really put down as far as like what I was feeling. To me, it was a good start. I'm very excited next week to update everybody. Not that you were on pins and needles, but last time we got no screenings whatsoever. We got screenings for the Stranger Things finale. Very excited. I checked this morning. Theater's completely packed. There's one seat in the front row that's not sold yet. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that's a different cast, but I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that was completely sold out. Like there's stuff where it's like, okay, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, very full, right? But like completely sold out, it's been a minute. So I'm very excited. I like a good sold out crowd. If it's a bunch of assholes, bunch of people that suck, then no, of course, because I've heard people go, oh, lots of people, I don't like that. But if you got a fun movie going crowd, like I always say, my Endgame crowd, that was a MCU, super respectful crowd. People are hooting and hollering at the right times, having a good time. So I'm very excited. I should get that review up for next week. It'll be probably right after that night of. So look out for that unless barring anything else, right? But so for this, how do I feel on Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2? Non-spoilers? Oh, jeez. I feel torn. So I will preference this and say I don't think it's luck. I don't think we're on the way to like a Game of Thrones scenario, right? Where I know there are defenders of that last season, but I'm definitely someone in that camp where for the majority of it, it's mostly the last 2 episodes, but for the majority of it, I don't think it ruined the show because I rewatched it, but it was such a massive step down, right? I wouldn't say this is a massive step down, but for me, I have to see how the finale goes because this could be slotted in the last season stuff. I think there's something that happens with a lot of these shows, and luckily, this is the last season, but there's about 3 to 4 beats, and I hope I remember them. I should have wrote them down because last time there was a big thing that I was fucking right about. I called months ago, and I didn't get to do a victory lap. I will today because it's a big plot point, but there's just a few beats that are very similar to things we've done before, right? And I think there's a fine line between echoes and repeating. And I think they're somewhere right on that, but leaning towards it's feeling a little repetitive. Hey, 11, can you do this? Okay, we're doing this the third time. Hey, we're getting this the montage. Okay, this is kind of the third time, especially one very specifically, we're doing this again, right? Hey, character does this. Can we trust this character? Well, it's been 4 years. I would hope so, right? So like, there's a few beats that just feel, and there's one that they kind of flipped on their head. So right now, I'm still enjoying it overall. These characters is still great. Overall, writing is good for the most part. I think there's a couple things with the Will character that, man, they are giving them tons of monologues this season. Some are hitting, some are to the point where it's just like things are going on. Like, hey guys, let's talk. Or just like, hey mom, I really need to tell you something. Like, we are going into the final episode. We're going into the final battle. We're going to stuff. I really need to tell you something. And there's like a vital plot point with him that I was waiting for the whole time for him to talk about. And he kind of does, but it's like takes him like 20 minutes to get there. But it's like, hey dude, like, I get it. You got stuff you got to talk about, but we like the game is on the line. The clock is running out. So there's a few things that way that it's like, I don't know. The pacing feels like a little bit off. And there's just a few story beats for me that I just haven't really enjoyed. I talk about that last episode where it's like, oh, the military stuff. Some of that continues, not too much, luckily. But then there's another beat that I was liking before that kind of evolved into something else. And I go, you know what, for the final season, I don't know if we need this here. So again, like the last thoughts, the volume 1, really enjoyed. Like, hey, we're on to a good start. This is not so much rocky, but definitely kind of wavering where I'd rank the season. It's about the finale and what's going to happen, right? I think there's a lot of plot armor going on with some of our characters. There's still some great moments here. I think there's some fun kind of stakes, but not fun, I guess, but just stakes that I don't know which way they're going to go. And luckily, even something with this one, they answered to me. I don't think they answered in a clear enough way. I did talk to someone that did feel that way. We'll get into spoilers. I'll say just a relationship dynamic that I was okay, didn't know which way it was going to go, and they picked a route, and I did not think that was the route they showed me. You know, I thought it was maybe not the best written and directed, but even then Emma was like, oh, that's completely what I took from the scene. So that's why different strokes for different folks, right? Art hits people in different ways. So yeah, right now I enjoyed this. I do think this is, it does feel, because Mike said this in the Discord, for all this kind of hoopla about how long the episodes were and whatnot, I think it's coming in season like shorter than season 4. And it feels like that a little bit. I think that's the one thing where there's just a moment where lots of the characters are back together. And it is a thing of, man, we got a lot of people. Even this season, they add, I might be forgetting somebody, but they add like 2 more now to the group that know everything that's going on. And it's like, we're going to help you out. And it's just like, all right, like when they show, hang on, I get my snow here. When they show the whole group of people, it is a lot of people. We're getting like not to end game portal levels, but there is quite a few people that I don't know if they're going to kill for the can fodder. I don't know. As I've said before, I don't need a bunch of heroes to die. I think they've done a few things that have made me think that certain people won't die. They maybe choreographed it, but we'll see. So, yeah, right now, enjoyed volume 2, but I didn't absolutely love it. Have to see also later on like a kind of like a rewatch, you know, because not that I never thought this thing, but when I rewatched the entire show, I was like, man, this is still to me, like, as of right now, one of the greatest shows of all time. I don't care what people say about the length or this and that. There's a little questionable CGI here. I feel like we haven't had much questionable CGI of Stranger Things since the first season, but there's a sequence, I'll just say, with some melting. It was looking a little rough, you know, looking not the greatest. So yeah, I think so far It really just comes down how they stick the landing here. And they did same thing. There's like a huge plot. It's funny, like minor spoilers here, but they even said this in interviews, right? But they said, okay, this season we're explaining what the Upside Down was. I was with people where I thought they did a good enough job in season 4 to give us like a rough idea that I didn't need the full on, here's exactly what it is. They do exactly what it is. They break it down. It's kind of like midichlorians in a sense, right? Where it's like you're getting to the very true point origin of the Upside Down. I don't mind it per se. I think they added kind of a some sort of stakes to it that was a very big deal, and then it felt like it went away very quickly. So it's like I don't know if we need this going on. I feel like between this, the military, and Vecna itself, and demo dogs, all this stuff, I feel like they've added a lot of threats for the final episode that I don't think is needed. I think you still could just have the bare bones of the crew versus Vecna. So I don't know. That's where again I think some of the pacing's a little bit, and there's definitely some things where because it's the final season other than us knowing that and going towards this big ending, there's stuff that does not feel like that. There's stuff that still feels like it's mid Stranger Things where it's setting up stuff down the line. And I just don't know how a final season are we going to feel like, hey, we did not spend enough time with these characters. We didn't spend enough time with this plot line. I really don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. It's going to come to Stranger Things, or the finale, but we'll talk about this portion. So if you've not seen it, we are going to get into spoilers right after this ad break. Look at this nice back scratcher. So we're going to do that. So if you've not seen it, my overall thoughts are still enjoying it, but I did not love it, and I think there's a few things that are just some pacing and writing and some choices that I don't know how to feel about them, and I don't know if there's certain choices that for sure a few choices that aren't going to be the finale will make it better. There's definitely some things that nope, they've chosen this route, and I didn't love it. So gonna take our first ad break. I'm gonna take a drink of water, and when we're back, we're in full spoil. So we'll be right back. And we are back. Okay, so thank you to everybody joining the live chat. I'm not on time limit today, so if anyone has a question or something about Stranger Things, go ahead, throw it in. We're in the full spoilers now, so if you want to throw something in, go ahead. Usually, the main show, it's either patrons or super chats. Today, no like hour limit or anything like that, so I'm not going on for multiple hours. Just saying, we can spread the load a little bit. Will Steve and Will interact before the show's over? I don't know. There's a lot of characters that that kind of happens though, right? I think there's something where it's like in Avengers, Thor and Black Widow never interacted. That just happens where there's so many characters. If it was the core group, I'd say yes, but I'll say no. I'll say other than being in the same room, I don't think so, right? And that's the thing where there's a lot of characters now going into our finale. I will start where I should have started, or at least should have finished with last time. Is Mike Wheeler going to have a major part in Volume 3? I think so, right? Because I feel like either way, if 11 dies, that's a big thing for him, right? And even then, this we'll get to, but that moment with Will telling everybody that he's gay, I felt like him and Mike should have had a particular moment because they were best friends. They had a little tension last season because he didn't know what was going on with Will. And that was Will said, like, oh, you're my Tammy, right? Like, I liked you, not because it's necessarily you, but I made myself realize, oh, in liking you, I like boys. Even if I don't, you don't like me back, you were my gateway to that, right? They just kind of did the group hug, and I thought that they should have more of a moment. I'm not sure if that was the writing. I'm not sure if that's just because of schedules and so many people. So I think I'm hoping for a little bit more with Mike and Will. And either way, whatever happens with 11, I would imagine Akari, I think that's how I say your name. If not, I'm sorry. But I think that like if 11 dies, big dramatic emotional stuff for Will to do, right? If 11 lives, they get to run off, be in love, go somewhere else. So I think Will, especially because like I feel like, or sorry, not Will, Mike was the main character season 1. It's kind of always flipped around. It is an ensemble, and especially this season, I feel like they're bringing back to Will a lot. I feel like Mike will have a big role in the 2-hour thing. I don't think he's dying or anything like that. So do we know if Steve is in the cartoon spinoff? I did not know there's a cartoon. The cartoon spinoff, I could be wrong. Are you talking about the one that's a prequel? Because I think that's a prequel. If that's a prequel, then I imagine so. Because isn't it like just like between season 2 and 3 or something? Like I imagine you could see a Steve. Maybe we might have that one-on-one last episode because it's gonna be 2 hours long. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm kind of hoping because it just. And that was my thing where I guess we'll start there. I don't want to forget what I want to start with, but so the speech, right? I find it very odd where Vecna gets Will again. Very scary scene. I like Vecna. All the stuff they're doing to the kids, very gross. It's very close to like assault stuff. They're making him big bad, right? So he gets Will. And one last time, you're gonna spy for me. I just found it, and I think he kind of used him as a poor, or I don't think he did. I think Will used his eyes to see through Vecna that they were going after Max, right? I think for me is geek for seeing the finale in the theaters. Yeah, if you miss a spoiler, non spoilers, I'm seeing it in the theaters next week. I'm very excited for that. So, but anyways, Will sees the Maddox thing and then whatever, but Vecna catches him, says like one last time, I'm going to use you again. You're going to be my spy or whatever. Right? I'm paraphrasing. Will, and I don't think he ever really did. I think he kind of at the end, I get what's going to happen. I'll explain in a second. But for everything that's happened in these, I think I don't know how many years it's been. Let's just say 4 seasons, right? For these 4 seasons, for everything that happened, for everything to go down, for Will not to tell anybody right away when he's out, like, hey, Vecna plans to use me as a spy. Even if they go, oh, we figured out you're not the spy, or oh, we'll play this fucking song, or oh, now that they've told us we can figure a way to beat that. The fact that he told nobody was unbelievable. It's just like this moment too when they're making this plan and they're talking about the kids, and Hopper's like, well, why would he want the kids? What? Where have you been for 4 years? Make that the nurse. Make that the teacher. Make that a character that's not been around. Clearly, you didn't figure out that, oh, they kidnapped Will to like help him get some powers, or with the like you would just, he was there in the hospital in season 2, so it felt like there's a few things in this show when the character says it, when Hopper's like, what do you think he wants with kids? He says it in a way where like, oh, he shouldn't concern himself with the kids because that's not really a big man. It was just very odd. It's like, who knows what he wants, but you know it's part of his fucking evil plan, Hopper. Like, come on, wake up here, right? But they make this plan, and I like that they made Steve be the one giving the plan finally, right? Because like all these scientist people are trying to figure out all these army people, and Steve's just like, the jock turned good, cool guy, can't get the girl, best friends with a kid, which we'll get there. I like that they gave this moment where he get to do the whole, oh, here's the science. They gave Robin that a little bit earlier too, but I just feel like with Steve, they made him a bit more airheaded in a fun way, right? In a likable way. But it was great for him to get the slinky and the flashlight. Hey, instead of us going up, what if we wait till it comes to us and, Jack the Beanstalk? So I thought that was great moment. Him and Dustin figured it out. Great. They make this plan. Everyone's packed up. Everyone's ready to go. And like I said, to me, it is a critique that Will never talks about, hey, unless I missed it, but there was a couple stuff we would rewind just to be sure, like, did they say this? Unless I missed it, I don't think he ever said, like, hey, Vecna said this to me, we should be careful. Because what if there is a situation where they're watching this and like this plan's going down, Will's watching this, and then Vecna channels in his mind, he sees the beanstalk thing, and Vecna's like, let's just take out that tower and the upside down. Gone. So it felt a little risky for him not to share anything in this age. I understand in season 2, hell, maybe in season 3, why he might not. But at this point, especially when you've realized how powerful Vecna is and what they can do, maybe share, listen, he said he's going to use me as a spy. And I swear, because to me, what he revealed at the end of this episode should cut that off. In the finale, if Vecna uses Will somehow in the spying sort of way, that's going to be major points off for me. Because like Will as a character, you should understand that, right? But I think what they're trying to get at is, okay, because he has a fear, and the big fear was rejection, because he even said like, oh, I showed like, I had this vision, and it's just Vecna put it in there. That was the other thing too, was kind of odd where, he's like, oh, well, he showed me these things about the future, and I'm scared of it. And even I know, right? I was like, he plays tricks, and it's like, yeah, like, like, Max, like even God, I can't remember, Nancy, like they've seen things that didn't come true, right? So it just, I get it to be scared, but for him to kind of take this as like, oh, I'm gonna tell people I'm gay and they're gonna turn against me, was like, I don't know if you have to be really scared about that, dude. Like I like, again, they're kids, but at the same time they've aged up so much because of their life experiences. It's hard for me to go with the, oh, they're kids. Same thing. Once we got to season 3, that, oh, they're kids, kind of out of the realm of possibility. Everything they did in season 1, season 2, they've aged, they've matured, they've been through the thick of it. I can't buy the, I don't know. Akari says how many deaths we're going to get to. We'll get to at the end. Cynic says, not going to lie, I feel disappointed with how things went. I feel like, other than one person I talked to, I feel like that's kind of the vibe right now. Most people are underwhelmed, but we'll see, right? We got the finale, but so I think what the idea is with Will telling everybody that he's gay, that cuts off the fear, because Vecna, They got Robert Englund last season. They even said he was inspired by. They got to show Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in this volume. Clearly, they're big fans of Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's a big thing Freddy would do, right? He'd find your fear, tackle it, and you get rid of that fear, and you kind of break off from Freddy, right? So my hope is what they're kind of insinuating is that Will telling the group his sexuality and them embrace him cuts off that fear that Vecna would take advantage of, and then where are my back scratcher? I got these nice new PJs. We get new PJs every year for Christmas. Star Wars PJs. We got matching ones. A little itchy though. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, my hope is him telling that cuts the thing off, and you can't spy. Vecna can't enter him that way. I'm fine if Will can enter Vecna because it's that thing they talk about right now. Vecna thought he was weaker than he actually was. I'm fine with it the reverse way, but Vecna using, Vecna using his fear feels gone. And I will say though, it's tough, right? Everyone's getting ready to go. They're packing up. They're getting the weapons. It is down to nut crunching time. Obviously, they still need to wait till the thing fully loads, but they don't know the timing of how is the Abyss and the real world going to come together, right? They don't know the timing. They think Lucas is right. They kind of have till midnight of November 6th. Sure, but still, it's like you don't absolutely know. So the fact that they all get together, they rally up, they get their weapons ready to go, and at the last minute was like, hey, I got to tell you guys something. And like I said, non-spoilers, they've given him a lot of monologues. And I just feel like maybe that's why another reason it's like another monologue from Will. Like, all right, like I get he's one of these main characters because he was abducted, but it's like they've given him a lot in these, and I don't think all of them have hit. Like I've said before, it feels like, hey, I got to tell you something, Mom. And then it's like a 15 minutes, like, hey, like, get to the point a little bit quicker, man. And that's where this was. So I'm of two minds of this. I fully support this being a big plot point, right? I have no problem with Travel as a Geek first. I have friends that are gay. I have friends that are trans. I don't care. As long as you are friendly and good to people, I don't care who you're loving, who you're sleeping with. As long as it's mutual, as long as there's love, great. I don't care if you're green, don't care what color you are, sexual orientation, does not matter. So any negativity I have towards the scene is not because like, oh, Will made is gay. No, fine. They've been building that. That's great. I have no issue whatsoever. And I think that is great for kids that are, and younger kids, teenagers that do feel different, that watch such a big thing like Stranger Things, to see a character like Will and the whole group embrace them. That's great, because even people in places that have gay marriage in there, have, people more accepted, there's tons of people that still don't accept people, right? There's tons of people that they are gay, and whether it's how they live, their religion, their church, will disown from their kids. And if you do that, don't understand you. I think you're one of the first fucking people about that, right? So that's the thing where I don't care. Awesome. And I think this is great. I think it was the placement and the timing. And also I just never bought that it's where it's like, we already have Robin, who's a gay character in the group. It just felt like the stakes of him sitting everybody down for a long scene. They said they filmed this for 12 hours, for a long scene to get to him being gay. I just at never any point thought like someone's gonna be like, well, this is where I draw the line. I feel like this storyline was maybe like something like, obviously they introduced season 4, so it's tough. I just feel like this is something maybe earlier on when they're still very kiddie and they're not as close together and been through this, or even like last season when him and Will were kind of at each other's throats. Like this season they've kind of have Mia Couples and come back together. So it just felt odd going to the finale where they're gonna have this long scene, and that's the thing where, hey guys, I got something really big to tell you. And I thought it was going to be a combo of, he can admit he's gay, but also that Vecna using me as a spy. I don't like, this plan could be fucked. Like, and even though I don't like this plan could be fucked, like they saw this, or maybe you can't bring me because that's going to screw me up. And they'd give this whole pep talk of, whatever Vecna's going to do, we'll battle against that. We need you there. You're a vital piece. It just felt all that like the final thing, like, guys, I need to tell you something really important. And I get that is right. Then maybe that's what they'll specify in the next episode. I just feel like they did not hit home of, if him telling his sexuality, everybody cuts off the ties to Vecna. They didn't really, he like talked around that a little bit, but it just, again, felt like where it was and the pacing of the scene and the story, I don't know, felt a little off, and the moment didn't feel as big. As I talked about before, like him and Mike not having like a separate moment, like, I don't know. And it was just little stuff like the Hopper thing when he was talking to Rob, like, well, who did you tell, you were gay? And he's like, well, at one point she said the audience, and I was like, oh fuck, are we last 2 episodes like breaking the fourth wall? I was like, don't do that. Luckily, it was just a general audience, right? But that thing was like, oh. But she said, oh, Steve. And he's like, Steve, really? Two things. One, Steve has multiple times now proven he's a good guy. I think sometimes, again, they act like these characters are their season one archetypes. He's been in the thick of it. Last season, he was there, fucking badass, killing all these things, helping you guys out. He's proven he's a good guy. And two, him and Robin are together all the fucking time. So out of anybody, the guy that clearly she's with and not dating, right? So guy she's clearly with, and he's seen that she's kissing another girl, clearly her girlfriend. And you're like, really? Steve? It's the same way as Hopper being like, what's he going to do with the kids? There's just some things where I don't know if there's so many moving pieces or just so much content where they've been like, hey, this line doesn't make sense. Like, why would he not think he's told Steve? Like, Steve is generally a good guy now, right? He's one of the best guys. So there's just a few things that just, especially maybe it doesn't line up if you haven't watched the show again, but I watched the whole show again right up to the season. And it just feels like we have evolved these characters to the point of, these friends are easily going to accept this. People would understand Steve. Hopper would know what's going on. So sometimes it feels like that or the plot armor, or same thing with Vecna, right? Vecna is super powerful unless our main character's around. I talked about that last episode with Will and Joyce. It's like he's killing all these guards, but he wouldn't even kill Joyce, right? I've said this before. Why wouldn't Vecna try to kill Joyce? If for some reason he's a sorcerer or wizard, he stops him, great. But in this moment where Will hadn't unlocked his powers yet or that usage, even if it's just to like Joyce is no threat, it's like that weakens the group. If you want Will to be scared and on the back foot, it's like kills mom, right? And same thing when Holly was running. Vecna, great situation where Vecna has a huge heartbeat. He's up there getting all the kids' spirits or whatever, right? Holly throws up, looks like a terrible way to throw up. This just dust comes out of you. She's running. I know he had a broken leg, but multiple time Vecna is. We saw it in the next scene where she jumps down and Vecna like force catches her and pulls her back up. Why is he slow Jason Voorhees walking towards Holly for her to get into the Upside Out, just so we can get a pretty much a cliffhanger from what episode, whatever it was, the episode 6 to 7, right? Just so you'll tune in. It's like that happens with some of these characters with, and Carrie says there's a lot of missing pieces and emotions I hope they filled in last episode. And I agree with you, and I hope, but that's the tough thing where when we have the military, the Abyss now, Vecna, there's so many threats that's where I worry that I could see an hour 15 of it being action, big stuff going on, and then like the 45 being like, here's the emotional stuff. And you might think, oh, that's a lot of time, 45 minutes. It's not when you have all these characters. Also, they could kill some off, but 45 minutes, like, there's a reason Endgame was 3 hours, because like you needed that first full hour to me. That's why I always will defend Endgame. I love the first hour of that movie when people are just depressed and sit around doing nothing. You know why? Because they get to talk and show their emotions. Where this is a multiple hour shows, So I don't know. So it's just there's certain things that just happen that I scratch my head that just happened before the plot. So I love the idea of it, of him coming out of it. I think that's a great character moment. Great for people watching the show. I understood it. I just think two things of his fear was a little unfounded. I get it's in the 80s. I get it's way more or less accepted than it is now, right? I think it's just tough when these characters have been together so long. I would not buy that being the reason they turn against them. They've not shown any signs of being, against any sexuality, and you already have a gay character in the group. So it's like they've accepted her and she's newer to the group. So I feel like they're going to accept you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you're okay, right? So I think it's just a situation. I just think they should have hit more on the head that it was more of internal fear, but it was also to cut off the spy thing. And again, if the spy thing gets brought up in the finale and Vecna use that against him, that's a massive con for me, because like at any point, why didn't you really specify, hey, this dude literally said, I'm going to use you as a spy. Like you're my eyes and ears there. So we'll see what's going on, what's going to happen there. Let's a couple people in the chat here. Let's see. Kira says, I have a big doubt about the upside down turning upside down during the hole in the wall of the bridge. Why did it cause larger damage? Like it'll become a balloon, open the edge, and all the air comes out. That's one of my things where I talk about the threats too. To me, in that moment, they find this thing, and this is what I was talking about. I didn't mind that because they have this whole thing with him and Steve, and they're like, Dustin, you right? Dustin's right all the fucking time. And I like that he wasn't this time, right? I didn't need the characters question it, but I like that he wasn't. He thought it was a generator in this building they found with all these Vecna vines and all this stuff. They thought it was a generator, and it was the reverse. It was holding back something larger. When Nancy shoots this thing, that's where the melting sequence, some questionable CGI going on. Like when it was coming out of the walls, it was like, okay, this is maybe like should have brought it down a little bit or darkened it even a little bit. I don't like scenes being so dark you can't see, right? But it was just looking very Star Wars prequel-y in that moment. So this happens, and when she shoots this, it felt like an immediate threat. Even to the point where I can't remember her name, but Eleven, her sister, and Hopper, they're down, they're in the Upside Down. This portal opens, it's like a vacuum, sucking everything in, right? It's literally ripping tree roots out of the ground and metal, but Hopper's just like standing there like, this is crazy. Like, he'd be gone. I can believe the girls, maybe they got some power, they push themselves, or even if Hopper gets pulled and 11 catches them, sure. But there's stuff being pulled, like, if they can pull a massive tree root out of the ground, Hopper's going, right? So that's where that whole thing, and so far, I'm fine with the explanation of, okay, technically there's 3 locations, right? There's Earth, there's the Upside Down, and then there's the Abyss where Vecna's hanging out. That's that like Serpentine, like tanny brown place, right? And the idea is, I can't remember the full explanation, but pretty much it's 2 universes or 2 planets, something like that, clashing together. And that's what the Upside Down is. It was a wormhole, and the Upside Down is just kind of like an amalgamation of those things. And it's like a dark version of that, right? And if they get to November 6th, it's going to crash together, and Vecna's going to make his Abyss the real world, right? I like all that. I just don't think I needed that there's a tear and things are getting ripped through it, because it felt like it was this big threat, and then not much happened with it. I think it kind of closed up or something, but and good thing, because there was that one shot where there's like a big stream of like a white beam. Everybody I saw theorize like, oh, that's 11 dying. So at least we've seen that shot. We know, okay, even if 11 dies, which I don't think so anymore, that's not it, right? So I'm fine with the explanation of, okay, the 2 universes. I was still fine with just the Upside Down being like, these people got some powers. He got put through like an almost alternate dimension and created this, right? I was fine with that scenario, but that's okay, where technically the Abyss is where he is and he's been trying. And I like the whole way of, oh, how come we couldn't get to Vecna? 11 being like, I couldn't find him. Like, it didn't make any sense. I like that there's kind of like a third spot that they didn't know about. So I was fine with that. I just didn't need the big, it's very much like a superhero movie where it's like, and now there's a big beam in the sky. It's like, yeah, okay. Like it, it just feels like a lot of this stuff now would be being torn apart. Or same thing, this Nancy and Jonathan moment, which is like, oh, crazy shit's gonna go down. It just stops and everything solidifies, right? So, not sure how I felt about that. The other thing, this is where in chat you can let me know, and I'll read the other chats here that I missed here in a second. But I just don't want to forget, because the Duffer Brothers confirmed that Jonathan and Nancy are broken up. Now, that was a popular theory, right? That she'd end up with none of them, neither Steve nor Jonathan. I just did not take this as a breakup scene. Now, funny enough, like I talked in the Discord, people said same thing. No, I've looked online because I got a notification of this from the accounts I follow, and then I clicked on it. I wanted to read it. It's like, okay, did I misread this? Was I tired? Like, it was like 11 midnight, Christmas long day. And all the comments are like, I didn't take it that way. And Emily did, as far as I said, because I said, hey, when you watched the scene last night, how did you take it? I'm like, oh yeah, they're broken up. I didn't even feel like, dude, you take it they were breaking up. I just said, like, how did you take that? Like, oh, they're broken up. I didn't take that at all, that they were broken up. I understood that they threw the ring, but I thought it was a situation where they were finally honest with each other. And to me, I thought he just said, I got you this to fix the issues. But the point of the scene was them explaining to each other what they've been lying to about to one another. That fixed the issues. It wasn't a ring. It wasn't a marriage or a proposal. It wasn't a actual just like, superficial thing. It was them. They don't need to be married. It's the same way like me and Emily. We call each other husband and wife, but maybe we'll officially get married at some point, but it's a piece of paper. Once the kids are more important and now we're common law. So it's like, we don't need that stuff, right? And I thought that was kind of that moment of, hey, we could just be together. And especially because they embrace right after, and I just felt like whether it was the way it was directed or the way it was acted, for myself personally, and I was happy that, okay, Emily, you got what the creators did, right? And I said that before, we're like, season 2, that episode which we'll talk about with 11 and all her brothers and sisters, me and Kyle liked that. We were good with it, where everybody else was like, fuck that, fuck that episode. That storyline was stupid. I'm happy we brought it back, but for me, sometimes that happens with creators, right? This just rung, it's not as bad, but this just rung like in Rise of Skywalker when Rey and Kylo kiss. It's this big embrace, romantic music. You can fucking see like it's an open mouth kiss to their tongue. And then for a couple weeks later, be JJ be like, well, that was a kiss of friendship. I've never kissed any friends that way. If I kiss any friends that way, I was not wanting them to be friends. That's the thing where that scene does not go with what they said. To me, that did not feel like a breakup scene. I'm completely fine with her not picking both of them because I liked that moment where, because it was last season where Steve went to Nance. It's like, hey, I picture a van and 6 kids. And I'm like, in this episode, she's like, he wants 6 kids. Like, I don't know if I want all that. Like, I like that she was, because that's what's happened, right? I don't know when she started meeting Steve or dating Steve, but still pretty young, like high school sweetheart. And then after she didn't have a break, she dumped him and then right away hooked up with Harrington, right? I'm completely, Jonathan. I'm completely fine if that's the route where, Steve's just kind of gleaming on to like his high school sweetheart, the one that got away, but he still needs to go find someone else. Jonathan's just kind of gleaming on to the girl that he always had a big crush on, and now they're going in different routes. Even though I felt like him admitting these things felt like he was trying to get back to Nancy. That's how I took it. And I'm fine with her being like, hey, I've never been alone. I've never been given a chance to find myself because one, I've dated, 2 guys for almost my whole like teenhood, adulthood life, right? And 2, the times where there's downtime, we're fucking fighting demo dogs or demogorgons and all that stuff, right? So it's just like I personally did not read it as a breakup scene, and obviously, like I said, Emily did, so I guess it worked for her. I thought that meant it was either not acted the right way or directed the right way. People might push back. I just feel like that scene did not, and I get from the dialogue how that could go down. I just think emotionally, even after the fact, it did not play like that, in my opinion. So that to me, I'm not upset about the result. I think I'm just upset with the execution of it. I don't think that worked for me. That left me underwhelmed. Then when I woke up with that, to me, I just read that as either they're together or it's like let's like not see each other, but like let's get through this. Like we are like I just didn't take it as like a breakup. Now they could do an epilogue and jump 20 years and maybe they're together, right? But I didn't take that as like a full-on breakup. I just took that as like we've been lying to each other a lot. Here's everything, and we just love each other. Let's go. And maybe that's what they'll define as a breakup. But I don't know. That did not read for me. So let's see. Curry says, but the lab doesn't seem to have any damage felt, like a small bullet, but the lab doesn't seem to be harmed. I can't remember what I was saying, but no, the lab, everything's fine in the Upside Down. Even at one point when they're talking about the plan, and they're like, well, how are we going to get up there? And Hopper's like, well, luckily, and he like draws a picture. There's a chopper at this base. Like, yeah, of course there is. Of course it's a chopper that Hopper just knows about, right? Let's see. Not even anything felt by Dustin from the group. Or sorry, not even anything felt by the Dustin group from the vacuum section. Yeah, absolutely, right? It just felt that felt very easy. So let's see. Will you unmarry me? So they're married, broken up, or done, confused altogether. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what the creators say to me. Not to me, but that's what they said in the interview today that came out, that they are broken up. And I thought, all right, I guess so. So we'll see. I don't know if there's an epilogue, but to me, didn't ring true. What was I going to say? I want to touch upon this. We'll take another ad break, and then I'll be right back. And we're back. So yeah, I want to touch upon this because I brought this up we were talking about predictions, right? In the Discord about Stranger Things. So I never did this on there, but the predictions where I said, I think they're going to bring back the storyline with the episode 2 that everyone doesn't like, right? The other numbers, I'll just call them. I just thought that's a big hanging piece. And especially because when the show started, it was like, oh, well, there's an earthquake and we're back to normal life for everybody, right? It wasn't like it was a quarantine, but it didn't feel like the whole town knew there's monsters, where the first, like the ending of season 4 felt like there's monsters coming from the fucking sky, right? But I felt, okay, with this going on, you kind of have to address that, right? I know they were doing their own thing, but when we met those kids, they were nice enough and heroic enough that I just don't think they'd see this stuff going on and be like, man, we're just going to sit back and not do anything. So I felt like they had to play a part in it. They got to come back. Or I felt, and they kind of did this, but in a different way. I felt, oh, maybe they're going to do something where Vecna knows about these people and I got to take them out, and that can make 11 the strongest, right? Of, hey, I took them all out, but I couldn't get to you, right? They kind of did this where they went on a weaker way where they killed them all off. The military shot them down, which is like, yeah, okay, I guess, like, 11 barely gets caught, and she just has like regular people around her. You guys all have powers, but that's fine. Other than the main sister, they all got killed and they brought her back. And that's why I forgot to say, because I brought that up and that was a prediction. I didn't see many people talking about that. And the end of episode, whatever, the 3, when they, or 4, when they showed her, I was like, I got it. And they brought her in. And yeah, to me, this storyline makes sense. I think I have to wait to the finale because I've always said that I felt like 11 was going to die. I don't want her to die. I want her to have a happy ending. I felt like that up until the big speech. And I'll say maybe that could be a negative, where that speech should have came a little later on, where, and forgive me because I don't know her name, but her sister, pretty much, they go into like a upside down, whatever that black, space is, right? And just says like, hey, and they explain that they're trying to create a new 11 because they revealed that Henry's blood was funneled out of him to create these kids. 11 took was the strongest, took it the most. They're trying that again. I think it's the one that took, right? They're saying they're trying that again with multiple pregnant lady. They're pumping 8's blood and it's not working the exact same way. So they want 11 for the blood. So her point was, okay, cool. We're going to kill Vecna. We're going to kill Henry. We're going to stop that, right? And then after, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to come after you. And then, 11's like, well, we'll kill Linda Hamilton. Well, there's going to be someone new, just like with Papa. She came in, right? And then she's like, well, we're going to run. And then she goes, well, what? They're going to find you and kill Mike? Like, this road is going to go down a bad one, right? And my problem is it's the penultimate episode where she's giving the whole, we got to sacrifice to do this, right? And when 11 stands up to answer her, it's not I'll find a way. I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving Mike. It's, well, how do we do this? And then she explains like, hey, we'll kill Vecna and we close this all down. We'll stay back. And it seems like she's kind of considering it in a way. So that's where I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe they will kill her, but I just feel like they should have done this in the finale where it's in the moment where they defeat everything and this girl's like, hey, we got to do this. And then whether the portal closes and 11's dead, or whether the portal closes and 11 walks out, there'll be that moment of what's she going to do, where now it feels like kind of a choreograph to like a red herring, right? Like, oh, she's going to kill herself. And not really. She's not going to do it. And we'll see, because I'm rooting for her. I don't need that to happen. I'm not rooting for, we talk about the possible deaths. I really don't think anybody big is going to die now. Like, I think they've choreographed it too much. Like, I really don't know. Like, I could see the fucking guy that's like friends with Joyce and Hopper, right? Like the other scientist or journalist guy. I can see some of the characters like that, but I feel like they want to give most of these people a happy ending. I feel like Jonathan and Nancy would be odd to like, well, we're going to try this new thing out. We're broken up, so we're going to go live our lives and kill them. Steve and Dustin, they got back together, which we'll talk about. And they said like, oh, don't be like Eddie. Like, I don't think so. And I'm possibly fine. I am fine with that. I've said this before. Fellowship the Ring, we only lost Boromir, and that's okay. Some people might go, oh, it's unbelievable. You guys go on this big adventure, multi-year adventure, and none of you die. That's okay, because I'm sure that's happened in real life, right? So I don't think there's going to be any big possible or any big deaths happening. So we'll see. I like that character putting that out because that's a right thing to put out. It's been 4 to 5 years of Vecna government. So it's like, it's not unbelievable. Like, people will come after you and something's going to happen, right? So I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to explain that. I don't know why she didn't kill Linda Hamilton when 11 and her had that face off. As I said, all this bring up the military and the army. I don't need any of that. Vecna and now like a fucking wormhole. That's a big enough threat. We don't also need other army guys, but I feel like they just put them in there because like, well, what are Steve Hopper or what, like, yeah, Steve Hopper and Nancy, what are they going to shoot at? Well, they can fight the military. It's like, all right, like, I feel like this should be the time where the military goes, man, they see this wormhole and go, we fucked up. Everything's wrong. Because especially Linda Hamilton at the beginning, I know why they need her now, but at the beginning felt like they needed the girl and trying to make her somewhat sympathetic. So I would have been fine if they're like, you know what? The last military screwed up. They closed the portal. And at the end, when they're, and maybe this will still happen, but at the end, when they're worried about, are they going to take 11? That person's just going to be like, hey, you died. This is over. We're out of here. Like, go live your fucking life or get out of Hawkins, but we're not doing this anymore. We almost had a fucking apocalypse happen to us, right? So I digress. So we'll see. I like the stuff going on with her sister. Not sure what's going to happen, if she's going to sacrifice herself, or if she's gonna turn and like try and make Eleven sacrifice herself. I could see her taking a villainous turn. I hope it's that. I hope it's nothing like working with Vecna or something. So we'll see. Hopper was just more of that, where he's just afraid Eleven's gonna die. Usual good stuff with him and Joyce. The Dustin and Steve stuff, I don't mind there being tension. I don't think they actually needed a whole like fist fight going on, in my opinion. It's one of these things where it's like, we'll have to see when it's over, but like for the final season, these last time these characters together, did I need 3 episodes of them not getting along? I don't know. I was fine with Dustin having a darker edge. I was fine with him not being the lovable, oh gosh, guys, we're gonna figure it out. I liked that. And I didn't mind some of the arguments going on, but and even then too, when it was just weird stuff when Steve's like, well, Eddie wasn't a hero. It's like, well, he saved Dustin, and Dustin's multiple times saved you guys. So it's like, yeah, he was. It just felt like very childlike arguments from both Steve and Dustin. And to me, Steve's older, so he shouldn't be doing that. But also Dustin, as I said, they've been through the shit. So it just felt like the same thing as like Will's speech about being gay. It's like, this is not the time. You guys, the death's door is right there. The clock is ticking. You guys got to find this generator. Shit could go down. And you guys are like, well, we're gonna duke it out. It just didn't feel believable for me. Even the same way of like, to me this feels fan servicey, but when Dustin and him are like, I really miss my best friend. I miss my best friend too. Don't get me wrong. They've established that they're good friends, they're buddy. To me, it felt like a younger brother, older brother, because we don't see everything that happens on screen, right? So it could have happened, but I feel like every time these characters are together, it's in a group setting or they're forced to be together. Where Dustin and Eddie, before the shit happened, they're playing D&D together, hanging out. It did not ever feel like Dustin and Steve were hanging out. So I can believe they're friends. I can believe they love one another. To say they're best friends, it's like, I don't think so. Like, I think like Robin is your best friend, Steve, and then one of the other boys is your best friend, Dustin. Like, it just, unless you're doing like the multiple best friends, that's fine, right? But they didn't say one of. They just made it seem like it was very singular. Steve's looking very cool in the jacket again, with the hair, the hat. They're getting ready. They have those swords like Kim and Eddie had, and he apologized for anything, which is good. All acting here was great. Nothing wrong with the acting, even the dialogue of them. Some of the shots they're taking. Still, I think I'll say this: the delivery of the dialogue worked. They did their best to sell me. It was nothing with the actors. For some of the actors of the show, maybe not the greatest, but nothing with the actors. Just some of the writing just was like time and place, and I just don't know if we should get to this level right now, right? So we'll see. And then what else too? And then we had Sadie Sink with Max and Holly. She finally got back. There's a few moments there too where they're getting back, and Sadie Sink sees her post. Okay, well, good luck out there. She does give a speech, and she helps Holly like, well, you go here. That's how you can help. Even she got out there. She's like, I shouldn't have left her. I was like, yeah, that was kind of bold to leave her, right? You don't know what's going to happen, but like, it's fine. I get it. That's where there's something else I forgot happened. We had this moment where Joyce goes to Eleven like, can you find my son? And she gets in the bath. It's like, I feel like this is the 4th time we've done this in the show of something's happening with Will and Eleven's getting in a dark room or a bath. So it's just, again, where it feels like a little repetition. When we have Sadie Sink running to, to Kate Bush, and then at the end when she wakes up, they play the exact same song that she went in the coma from. It's like, again, there's allusions, there's tribute, there's echoes, and there's sometimes where it just feels like, you know what? This is a little too samey. And Sadie Sink running in the upside down, slow motion, dark stuff going on, lightning with Kate Bush running up the hill going, it's like, we already did this. We already did a montage. Like, I don't know if we need this here, right? That's where I think there's a few things where it's like, I feel like it's good we're ending here, because 4 to 5 seasons, I think, is usually the perfect point, and we're doing a little repetition, but I liked all these moments. I forgot and learned in between seasons that Holly kid is the girl from Evil Dead Rise, which she was great in, especially some of the stuff they had to put her in, all the blood and everything. Crazy amount of stuff going on there. So she's been great. All the stuff with her and the kids been good. I'm wondering to see what Derek does, because it feels like he had a big role and then kind of just tapped out here. Like, I thought he's going to really help Holly. I still feel like that hero moment's coming, but I could be wrong. But I like the actors. I like him and Max together. I like the scenes they had with Henry. All the stuff with Vecna and him being Henry, I think that works. That was a great reveal of Will taking over Vecna, breaking his leg, and like, Max run. Like, I like that stuff. That was good. She didn't know who it was. There was a weird moment where the first time they see each other, They hug, and then when Will says I'm gay, she's like, "Oh, you're gonna have to hug me." It's like you guys already did that. That's where I went. Like, do you guys forget sometimes what's you guys have ridden? Like they hugged. It's not a big deal. They're already hugging again. But I digress. So no, all that stuff was good. All that stuff of Max getting out, fucking Caleb, whatever his last name is, acting his ass off. I think he's gonna have a really good career. I think he's up one of the better ones, and act his ass off when Max come back. Again, I still think Sadie Sink is like the best one of the young bunch, and just great in the whatever Henry's world. Great when she's waking up and talk about how she can't feel stuff. And all that stuff worked out very well. Yeah, and then we got Robin and the nurse. We kind of done this before where we tell a character this is happening. I don't believe you. And then the monsters show up. I believe you, and we're in it. Fine. That's all right. I don't know if I need the whole storyline where she gets the security arrested and she thinks her girlfriend's a junkie. I don't know. That's fine. It's just to give Robin something to do. Cool. Mrs. Wheeler came out and killed some demo dogs with a gas tank and a dryer, which I thought was very risky. Other kids are here, you could kill them, but like, okay. And I just like that they're already had too many characters because she's like, I gotta find my dog. Like, well, you're sick, you got this. If you come out, you could be even worse. And Mike's like, you know what? All those other people that, all those times that the world was saved, that was us. So we got it, Mom. And Mom's like, all right. Like, I still don't believe she would sit in her bed while her daughter's out there. Like, if I'm a parent, even like I would give my life to make sure my child's okay. So it felt really just like, we got too many people in the scene already. There's like 14 of us, so you sit here. I just didn't believe Mrs. Wheeler would stay back. Don't know what's going on with Mr. Wheeler. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I don't think so. RKR says 11 tries to sacrifice herself, but somehow survives and reunites. It's actually crazy as hell theory I've heard, but I'm not sure of it. I miss Max's running. Let's see. Where does Mrs. Wheeler hide after throwing that thing in the washing machine without being noticed and getting in? I think she literally just walks back to her bed and sits down, and they don't know it was her. And it's that simple. They're like, I don't think the cameras work like they do nowadays, so I think they wouldn't see her. So, yeah, I think she just goes back to sleep. Like, I hope my kids are okay. But yeah, because that's the thing where 11, we talked about this in the Discord. Hopper sacrificed himself and dying. They did that at the end of season 3, right? So rewriting that. 11, like closing a portal, sacrificing herself. True, this would be like the final time, but like that was season 1. So it's just like they've kind of done the fake deaths and you can't do them. It's just the actors redoing things, right? So I could see that where it is she sacrificed herself but gets to live. Even if there was a way for the sister to make her live, I don't know. But I don't know. But I think it's that. I think they definitely do a fake out, but I think 11 will survive. I don't think she'll perish. So yeah, we'll see. I'll be back next week. I will be back next week. Like I said, because it's New Year's Eve, got some family plans, but I just don't know when they are. So see that at 5. That's about 2 hours. So we'll see. I will either have a review New Year's Eve night or New Year's Day. We'll see. I'm off for both of them. So just look out on those feeds. If you like that, subscribe. You get to see on YouTube when the episode goes live or when I'm recording it live. And you can subscribe, as I said, down below. Hit Spreaker, and that's where all our links are on Spotify, Apple, and find out what we're doing. And when that episode goes live, right in the morning, it's there. And if you want to add free, on Patreon. So thank you, everyone that watched the live chat. Thank you. I couldn't get to all of them because obviously I would transition and they went somewhere else, and I didn't know which part you were referring to. But thank you for watching on a box today. I hope everyone that is listening had a good Christmas. Everyone that's watching had a good Christmas. Hope everyone, and same thing, and join our Discord or down below. If there's something I missed, something got wrong, please tell me. Because you know why? Especially if it's something I was wrong about as far as not an opinion, just like, oh, they did say this or it's this thing happened. That's great for being wrong. You know why? Because it means I get to like the show more if I go, I don't know if this really tracked for me. So yeah, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on it. Join the Discord. We're having fun conversation there. And I promise we'll hear from you next, which will be next week.